So since I don't really know anything about this castle,
First I want to say eu soy un poquito tímido.
almost there.
Almost
Un
there.
poco.
Un poco tímido.
Yeah, it's okay.
So we see here a castle that was built in 17th century by our ruler back then. That was Brâncoveanu. It was somehow not a king; it was a voivode. Before kings we had voivodes, and he built this in his own specific architecture, because all the monuments, all the buildings that he built in his reign have this combination of style of architecture, like Byzantine with Ottomans architecture, with influenced by Romanian architecture, but with some influences of Baroque and Renaissanceism. Not
Yeah, I
sure if
understand.
I pronouncing very good. And he built this beautiful place with all of this garden and the lake, whatever the lake was here, but he built here the summer castle for him and his family. Yeah, and after a period, like I can say about Brâncoveanu, like our ruler, back then he had 4 sons, and he was very religious. That's why he built a lot of churches. And because he was that religious and he was very nationalist, he didn't want to pay to the Sultan tribute. So the Sultan was considering Brâncoveanu like a traitor, yeah. And he ordered his assassination with all his 4 sons in Istanbul, in Constantinople. And since then the palace was like a lot of time sold to different rich men. And I think the most thriving period of this castle was when he was bought by one of our princess, Bibescu. Not sure if it was a Romanian princess, but she was like she was part of royal families. And she was turning this castle in a place for culture, where all the intellectual people in that era, like in 19th century, they're coming here and discussing and having a tea, having social events. Yeah, it's a very full of history place. Yeah. I like to be a
And this is the second time you are here.
It's my second time.
Last year was the first time.
Last year was the first time, yes.
Yeah, one of my questions was about the kind of construction, because in fact we see some churches in the center of Bucharest made by this kind of bricks, so probably they are.
Yeah, it's the same
from the
period of
same-
time. It's Brâncoveanu architecture type. Like he was building these ornamental things, like the columns are very specific for the period, and the roofs, and the idea of bricks. And you can see the statues, but the statues are not necessarily the most beautiful ones, like with a lot of details. But these kind of statues are all over Romania.
I've never named while I stay in my lane, but something in the way she moves keeps pulling at my chain. Oh, traveler, you carry the sun in your stride, leaving behind what I hold inside.
So another fact about the palace is that it was a revolutionary thing in that period, that they moved the kitchen outside of the palace, because the fires from the kitchen were...
So that building is the kitchen?
I think that, or that, because that's a church, so for sure that's the kitchen. Or
I'm glad you are sure. Probably.
She hums a tune I've never heard in languages I can't speak. She writes down cities on her wrist and dreams she'll never keep. I sip my coffee, miss my cue, still anchored by my fear. But time rolls on like open.
Și Maica Dumnezeului nostru, ceea ce ești mai cinstită.
Maybe next year in Madrid.
Foi isto, pessoal. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Não estávamos à espera de vir até aqui ao Castelo de Mogoșoaia, mas como estou de folga e até está um dia bonito, lembrámos de vir passear e acabámos aqui. Também não é a minha primeira vez cá, já tive cá 2 vezes, mas espero que tenham gostado. Está um frio desgraçado e agora vamos ver se comemos umas cartofas com ostrogonos e parmejano. São batatas com batatas.
Oh, não.
Afraid of fate if I don't take that step today. You'll vanish with